Welcome to Sage Audio. Today we're covering how to master in FL Studio. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Starting with Subtractive EQ. For this video, I'm only going to use stock plugins and show all processing as a chain. Also, keep in mind that the effects will be subtle, so they may be hard to hear individually, but collectively create a good master. Starting the chain, I'll use the Fruity Parametric EQ2 primarily to attenuate frequencies that I don't want to amplify with subsequent processing. For this track in particular, I use a high pass to attenuate imperceivable frequencies and get more headroom, then I dip some excessive lows and high mids. Both of these dips were a little less than 1 dB, so let's take a listen to how this EQ subtly balances the signal. Very subtle, saturation. Saturation will both subtly compress and add harmonics that increase the overall loudness and cause the mix to sound fuller. I use the Fruity Blood Overdrive with a very low preamp level and moderate coloration, which I found was just enough for this particular track. Although this plugin isn't perfect for mastering, it does have a nice sound, which you can always blend in with the mix level dial. Let's listen to how this plugin increases loudness and fullness. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button. It helps us bring you more videos. Maximus for upward compression. Maximus is typically used for downward compression, but I like the sound of its maximization better. To do this, I simply increase the level of each band's midpoint by about 1%. This increases the level of each one of these bands, but from the lower level upward. For the highs, I'll use a quicker attack and release, but make these a little longer for the mids and lows to avoid unwanted distortion. Let's take a listen to how Maximus increases the loudness and detail while slightly reducing the dynamic range. Transient processing for detail. For the last 2 chapters, I've been making the signal sound full at the expense of dynamics, but now I want to start differentiating aspects of the mix. An easy way to do this is with a transient processor, and to subtly increase the attack to amplify the transients. With the split frequency dial, I'll isolate the processing to my mids and above, then increase the attack to about 20% while setting the detection to fast. Let's listen to how this subtly increases the high frequencies of the kick and snare. Only a small percentage of people that watch our videos are subscribed, so if you're enjoying the video, consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Additive and shaping EQ. Since we're using stock plugins and might not always have as much control as we'd like, an EQ at this point will help to rebalance the frequency spectrum. Here, I added some lows, very subtly reduced the low mids, boosted vocal presence, and the clarity with a high shelf. Let's take a listen to how this rebalanced the mix. Soft clipper for subtle harmonics. A soft clipper is going to add dynamic harmonic distortion. In other words, whenever the transient passes the threshold, we'll achieve mild distortion, which, depending on the settings, will increase the low or high frequency range. I'll lower the threshold to just below the peaks to achieve the effect. This clipper is more subtle than usual, but I enjoyed what it added to the mix. Let's take a listen to it. Compressing with Fruity Limiter. FL Studio has a standalone compressor, but I like the one included with the limiter a little better. That said, I'll ignore the limiter for now and compress the signal. For this track, I'm using a 2:1 ratio, a hard knee, and a quick attack and release. Compressing is going to let us push the limiter that we use later on a little harder, but just as importantly, the quick attack, release, and the hard knee are all gonna subtly distort my transients, giving them a nice punch that works well for this track. Let's listen to how we controlled dynamics, but also subtly augmented the timbre of our transients. If you're enjoying the channel, join the community with the link in the description. Frequency splitter for subtle EQ. The frequency splitter is more or less a 3-band EQ with which we can reshape the frequency spectrum of our signal before the last stage of processing. I boosted both the lows and the highs by about 2 dB and set up a send for the high frequencies, which we'll cover in the next chapter. Let's listen to how boosting the lows and highs makes our mix sound closer to a finalized master. High frequency stereo expansion. In the previous chapter, we discussed a high frequency send. I did this to reverberate my high frequencies in order to naturally increase their width, then blend them back in with the original signal. FL Studio offers stereo expansion on the channel strip, but this sounds a little better in my opinion. I used smaller reverb and blended the wet dry, then used the stereo expander I just mentioned on this track before lowering the level to blend it in. Let's listen and notice how our highs are expanded, giving the overall track greater width. Limiting on the master output. With the main signal and our send combined at the master output, I'll use a limiter on this output to amplify the full signal and protect from clipping. I increased the gain by about 5 dB, but use more or less on your master, depending on what you're trying to achieve. I also introduced very mild saturation and lowered the ceiling to -0.2 dB to avoid intersample peaking. Let's listen to what this limiter does to the signal. Then, let's take an extended listen to each form of processing being enabled one by one so that we really understand how they all work together. If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.